Oh, you caught me doing push-ups. All right. We got Mark, and it's a great day. I got a little bit of fuzz on my screen here. I don't know if I can. I didn't catch that earlier.
It wasn't there. It was clear.
It was clear a minute ago. What
Yeah,
happened?
it's a little fuzzy.
Well, we're gonna have to do it that way today. Um, we're not gonna mess up the podcast. We got such a great podcast for the buyers today. Why is it, Mark? Today's podcast, guys, grab a pen, grab a pencil, paper, and your coffee, water, whatever it is. Today's podcast, you're hearing out to the marketplace. Is it the right time to buy? Some people saying it's a great time. Other people saying, hold off, it's going to crash. What is the truth? We know the truth. Powerful real estate agent and team that keeps up on economics. And Mark Betfar, Greg Reitz Real Estate Team EXP, and Mark Betfar with Accent Nexa Mortgage out of Fresno. We understand why, and we're going to give you the truth. And that way you'll know. Because this is worth tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket today. Why it's the right time to buy now. Why it's the right time to buy now. We want you to know the truth. So, Mark, what is the truth?
Well, I think you're exactly right. And we're both really passionate about this because we hear this constantly, day to day, at least 2 or 3 times. The market's going to crash. I'm sitting on the sideline. I want to wait. Well, the 5 reasons that we're going to come up with today, or that are just valid reasons to buy a house, I think are compelling. And I think everybody who's listening, friends, family, of the people listening, they need this information because, had you utilized this information summer of last year, you would have been so much better off. Now we're calling you to action today to utilize this information because you're going to be so much better off a year from now. So the first reason is a hedge against inflation. Everybody knows eggs, milk, poultry, everything, automobiles, everything's going up. Well, guess what? Homes are going up too. So if you're paying a lot at the pump, you're paying a lot for groceries, you're paying a lot for the things that you need in your day-to-day life, your house is actually going to act as a savings account and a hedge against that inflation because it's actually increasing. It's increased dramatically over the last couple of years, Greg, as you know, but even at a modest rate of 7 or 8%, you're making money on your house and offsetting that inflation that you're experiencing in the market.
So if I hear you right, the hedge against inflation is twofold. One of them is they get into a house now, they don't have to worry about that house going up anymore over year after year because on an average, on a national average over the last 100 years, the house goes up about 7% to 8% a year, right, Mark? On an average. Now, it just came up with 20% increase in 1 year and 15 the year before that. But normally it's 8%, 7, 8%. That's what we're headed on this year, 7, 8%. So they buy now, invest in a property now, not like a car, it goes up in value, okay? And you have a hedge against having to buy later at a higher price, right?
Absolutely.
And you also get other benefits. So that's a hedge against inflation. You buy now, you're locked in. Why other people have to pay more later, 1 year, 2 year, 3, 4, 5 years later, you got this price now. So that's huge, right?
That's exactly right.
And I want to talk about the tax write-offs on mortgage interest, okay, guys? And we're not CPAs. We only know from experience and what we've seen on the books and what our own experiences have been since we bought homes, right? And I just bought a home recently, right, Mark?
Yep,
through you guys as my lender. Why?
Yep,
because
you did.
It made sense.
Mm-hmm.
You just bought a home recently because it made sense. So now is the time. Take it from 2 people that have just done it. It's time to buy. Let's go. We're giving you the reasons, and they're honest reasons. Tax write-off on mortgage interest. So you have a payment of $2,000 on a 30-year note, average loan type. Let's just keep it general. And about 2/3 of that's going to be interest write-off on that, right, Mark? So if it's $2,000, about $1,200-1,300 is going to be interest, right?
That's exactly right.
I would say $1,200 at least.
Yep.
So you take that $1,200 times 12, right?
Yep.
And you're at about $14,400. So $14,400 per year, like 2,000 times, So about $14,400 a year, almost $15,000 you get in interest write-off. Okay. How my accountant told me is it comes down to this. You get about 30 cents back on every dollar on that mortgage. That's the easiest way for people that aren't like us to understand. For every dollar you spend on that mortgage payment, you get about 30 cents back in taxes, back in your pocket.
Yep.
At tax time.
Yep.
So if you got a $15,000 mortgage interest write-off, which I just explained, you had $14,400 on a $2,000 payment, which is kind of small. That comes off of your gross tax deduction. So if you made $50,000, now you knock that 15 off of your mortgage write-off. Now you're 35,000. You still get all your other deductions. You may even go into low income, get all your money back, right? It makes a huge difference, right?
It does.
So the mortgage interest will drop you down, and you got to check with your CPA on that because we're not CPAs, but it's huge tax write-off. Let me give you an example. I love to give examples. I'll be quick. I rented for years. 1997, I bought my first house. Best thing I ever did. Mm-hmm. And I paid, and everybody's talking about 5%, 5.25%. Okay. I paid 6.25%, boss. Mm-hmm. And I was happy to get that house.
Yep.
Right? 6.25% is what I paid. I did backflips all the way to the bank to get my money.
That's it.
I was ready.
Yep.
My accountant said, you got to get a tax write-off. You got to get a house. I said, that's BS. No, it wasn't BS, boss. So me and my wife were making about $60,000 a year between us. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think about 70 between us. They were 65. They were taking 26% taxes. Yep. 26%. We had no kids and no house. So they're taking 26 to 27% of our taxes out. So if we got 60,000, right, we were bringing home 44,000.
Right.
Right. That's how much they were taking out in taxes. We bought our first house. My tax accountant said, and don't forget, you guys can do this too at your jobs. He said, hey, you're claiming single 1, single 0. You guys are getting nailed. Greg, I want you to go to your employer. And Jennifer, I want you to go to your employer. And Greg, you change yours to married instead of single, and one, and the same, Jennifer, the same thing. So we went and changed our status to married, but dependent, and we've got in which we were able to get an extra $400 a month on our checks, right? $400 to $500 a month was an average of what we got every month extra on our income. Now we were worried about it because that's another $400 to $500. It's called $500 a month on our payroll, right? Which in the end of the year was $6,000 back in our pocket, right, Mark? $500 a month in taxes back in our payroll checks between me and my wife, about $250 each. $500, $6,000 a year. That helped us a lot.
Yep.
So we took that towards the payment, and we actually netted $200 more. So at the end of the first year, we were paying about $16,000 a year to taxes out of our $60,000, $65,000 payroll between both of us. And what happened was we end up having to pay at the end of the year $16,000 plus another check, around $1,000 a year extra, so $17,000 in taxes. So when we had our house, we changed our W-4 with our employers, right, to married. Mm-hmm. Got about $500 a month more, $6,000 a year back. And at the end of that first year after we owned our house, we got about 8 months of write-off. The first time ever, we got a $3,200 check. Now think about that. I got a $3,200 check from the IRS in the mail instead of having to pay an extra $1,000 at the end of the year, right? And I got $6,000 back during the year because my W-4 was changed. So I got $6,000 plus $3,200. I got $9,200 back of the $17,000 I used to pay.
Yep.
I just gave you the math. $17,000 is what I was paying for taxes.
Yep.
Before I bought my first house. I changed my W-2, got my first house, and only had to, and I got $9,200 back. Basically, I went down to under 15% in taxes. It was like 12%.
That's
guys,
huge.
That's the real life experience. That's the gospel for me. It happened. It will happen for you. You're going to be way ahead by owning a house. That's That's the tax write-off and how powerful it is, and that's a real life experience I wanted to give you. An equity build. Let's go into the equity build. What does equity build mean? Okay, I wanna pause for a second. I want all the renters out there, all the renters, and remember, I used to be one, and Mark used to be one. Renters, think about this. Hold the mind down for a second and think about this. What does equity build mean? So let's say you're renting that rental. You're the right home in the right area, and you're happy in that rental. You're actually paying that landlord's mortgage off. He's smiling at you, man. He loves you because he's making that payment and he's owning that house. Okay. He may even live in that house when you're done paying it off for him, and he's going to live for free. Think about that. That's number one. But the second part of that is you're renting a home, and all of a sudden he gives you a 60-day notice or a 30-day notice to leave. Mm-hmm. Ouch. Where's the love, right? Where's the love? Here's the notice. I'm going to sell my house because it's top of market. He's cashing in on his equity. The equity means you bought a house at $400,000, and we already said it goes up an average of about 8% a year, right? So let's say 7, even be conservative. 7, that's $28,000 a year on a $400,000 house, which is a conservative number, probably more. So he's making $28,000 a year, and that only compounds and gets bigger. So next year it's probably going to go up $30,000, right? So every year that gets bigger. So make it easy at $28,000. So every year he's making about $30,000 a year off his house, going up in equity. That's what equity is. You bought at this price, and it's going up every year. On an average, it's 7-8%. That's normal. All right. So you have that equity build. If you have a rental and you have to leave that house, how much money do you get when you leave that house? Correct. Answer is a big fat 0. You get nothing. You get an egg, a goose egg, nothing. You get nothing. So, but he gets the cash out because he's now selling his house. So that's equity that you've been paying for that he gets. We got to quit giving the equity away to the cash man. You got to be the cash cow now. You got to own your own house. It's time. That's what equity is for people to understand that. I think they got it. Did you want to share anything on that, Mark?
You know, I just wanted to say I loved your your real life analogy of the tax break, because the net of all of that in your experience, and everybody's experience is going to be different, right? And you need to talk to a CPA, but by just changing that W-4, because now you're a homeowner, you're bringing real money into your pocket. That, along with the money that Greg got back, that was about $800 a month. So we're going to talk to you in a second and really briefly about getting outside your comfort zone of what you're paying for rent a little bit. This is not about interest rates, guys. The only thing that interest rate is going to do for you is give you a better mortgage interest deduction. Higher rate, more mortgage interest, more deduction. That's what that rate's going to do. But it's not about finding the rate. It's about finding the payment. So if you're paying $2,200 a month, we're going to say, let's get outside your comfort zone a little bit and go to $2,800 a month if you qualify. Because in Greg's scenario, and likely in your scenario too, you're going to get money in your pocket because you're a homeowner. You're going to put money back in your pocket. That's not even talking about the equity. We'll get into that in just a second.
I love it. Yeah. So, that anytime it makes a lot of sense, I'm gonna ring the bell. All right.
There you go. We're gonna do a lot of bell ringing today.
A lot of bell ringing. Here we go. All right.
There it is.
He's smiling at me. So rent is a waste, right, Mark?
It's an absolute waste.
How it's a waste.
Well, let's do some really, really simple math that I think everybody will be able to understand, myself included, because I keep it simple. So you're paying $2,200 a month in rent. All right. That's 24. That's about $26,400 a year. $26,400 a year in rent. That just goes to give you a place to lay your head. That's what you get. All right. Wow. Right. And chances are you've got a common wall, or you've got a landlord that could sell that house, like Greg said, out from under you, give you a 60 days notice, and then you got to scramble for another apartment or another house. And that's hard to find right now. So $24,000 a month or a year you're spending. Now, Greg's analogy was 7% increase. Greg called it equity. A 7% increase in home value year over year. And that's modest. We've had way more than that over the last couple of years, but let's modestly say it's 7. let's say you buy a $400,000 house. Let's say that payment is $2,800 a month. It's a little higher. It's a little out of your comfort zone because you were paying 22. Now you're paying 28. So at the end of 28, right? That's roughly about $34,000 that you've paid for your house, right? For that year, $34,000 to lay your head in a house with no common walls. That's yours, that you can hang a picture. You can get a dog in the backyard. You can do whatever you want. You paid about $34,000. Well, at 7% increase, the house went up $28,000. So it went up $28,000. You paid $34,000. That's $6,000 in net payment that you made. You made money. So basically, I'm giving you $36,000. You're going to give me $28,000 back. What a great deal is that? So
wow, that's true, right?
And, it is true.
And not only that, but you tie that in with the earlier truth of you get to go to your employer, talk to your CPA, and change your W-4 at work.
Yep.
And get that extra $600, $700, $800, $1,000 a month between your paychecks, right?
Yep.
To where you're not even feeling the difference, boss.
No.
And then getting a huge tax write-off and probably a big check at the end of the year. Again, check with your CPA. Because, but we are just giving you life experiences and from clients that have talked to us and what we've seen, right? So
that's exactly it.
Man, that's so huge. Where are you going to make $2,200 a month or $28,000 a year in a home payment, taxes, insurance, everything combined? That's the whole payment, guys, everything included. And the equity goes up $36,000 a year, and you make $8,000 profit in appreciation of the home called equity.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. What about principal buy down? Talk about that, Mark. We forgot about principal buy down.
That's a beautiful
thing. Getting
thing.
Nuggets here.
No, there's so many. There's so many reasons to buy. That's why we're passionate about this, right? Yeah, ring that bell. That's why we're passionate about it. Because not only are you getting equity, $28,000.
Attacking me,
right?
It's a house.
We're gonna wear that one out. We're gonna need another one. There it is. So you're making money year over year on your equity, right? It's just going up naturally. But hey, guess what? You're making payments on something that actually you're paying off. So in the rental analogy, you're just paying $2,200 a month for a place to lay your head. And in the home purchase analogy, you found a monthly payment that was comfortable, maybe just a little outside the comfort zone, but we've shown you reasons why that's okay. And you're actually in that monthly payment paying your house off. So at the end of 30 years, at the end of 15 years, we can show you ways to pay it off earlier. At the end of that time, guess what? You own the house. You own the house. If at any time down the road, your daughter's graduating from college or needs to go to college, or there's a wedding coming up, you can take out the equity, a little bit of equity in your house. You can do an equity loan. You have a savings account in your house. There are so many things about buying a home and home ownership, from generational wealth building to being able to tap into that equity for life's challenges. There's so many reasons why you want to buy a house versus rent. Dang.
I agree. Wow. That is incredible. So principal buy down is huge because you're paying that principal payment off on that loan, and then that's just building even more equity. So you got to see on a house, you got the equity or the appreciation of the house going up every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a principal buy down, meaning your payment is you bought $400,000 house, you put in $10,000 down payment. Your mortgage was $390, right? That you owed, but in 10 years maybe you owe $250,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
But the house went up. We already said 7% a year, so now the 400 is going to be about $650. So you know what? I want to cash some equity out. You're at $650. You paid $400 for it. That's all real numbers I'm giving you guys. That's real stuff.
Oh,
$650 to $400. Plus, now you only owe $250. You got $450,000 of equity.
Mm-hmm.
$450. Pull it. Buy other investment properties. We do a lot of investors that pull equity out of the house for down payments on investment fourplexes, duplexes, single families to have for rentals, multifamily apartment buildings. They do it all the time. and it's okay to do that because you're making money with that money. You're making even a bigger profit. And they do that. And what they're doing, some of them are doing it for, they go, Greg, I want to pull the equity out of my house. I want to be able to pay the equity payment off every month and still pay the mortgage on the house. And what they're doing with the profit from that duplex, single family, or fourplex, triplex, is now the house that they live in is what, Mark?
What's paid for?
Free every month. It's paid for by somebody else's money.
Yep.
So, guys, we know how to do all this stuff. Love to show you and help you. I mean, it's incredible. So it is definitely time to buy. I bought my first house at 6.25. These interest rates ain't nothing, and all it is a bigger tax write-off. And then renting is no longer an option. Renting is no longer an option. Rents are through the roof, and they're expected to go up even higher now. I got rents up basic house, $2,200.
Yep.
And you can get a mortgage for about the same or slightly higher, but being ahead by the mortgage write-offs. And Mark and ourselves, we can get you a loan that you're comfortable with. We can get you a payment that works for you. And then when the rates go back down, you refi out of it. You want that lower rate, you'll get it. It's coming. Oh,
it is.
It's full circle. But don't lose out on years and years of equity build, appreciation on the home, and principal buy down while you're waiting. Because remember, inflation is going to go up and houses are not going to crash. That is a lie from the pits of hell. There is no crash coming. There's no foreclosures. Everybody's in these houses because they want to be in them, right?
Yep.
And plus, they've got good jobs. There's a shortage. There's help wanted signs everywhere. People are working. There's a really strong working environment. There are more jobs than there is people that want to work them. So the economy is going to be strong from that perspective. So you get a hedge by investing in your home. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, move up, you want to buy investment, and from all the landlords I talk to, the rent's going to keep on going up. So let's get a hedge against that rental inflation and get you into your home. Again, whether it's your first home, a move-up property, a move-down property, if you're smaller, if you're retiring, vacation rental, a rental property for investment, multifamily, whatever you need, give us a call. Greg Reitz Real Estate Team, 559-260-1777. You can call and text me, 559-261, lucky 777. And then, Mark, what's your number?
That's 559-213-0690. Again, 559-213-0690. You can reach out anytime, and we are happy to help you with any questions.
Next Action Mortgage. It's all ticking across the bottom of our podcast, guys. Is there anything you want to share here, Mark, before we call it?
No. Just be as passionate to buy a house as we are to help you with it.
Get away. Buy a house. It's time to buy.
It is.
Time to buy.
It is time to buy.
Guys, let's have some fun. Let's embrace these rates. It's the new thing. Let's get you in the home. We'll make it happen at the right price. And we're waiting for the call. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.